Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. We are back to exchange albums. So let's change it up a bit. Chris, you go first.
Whoa.
Okay, I can do that. All right. Two albums. They're very, very different from one another, but I like them both, and I think that you will too. I hope you will. I'm sure you've at least heard of them, but I don't know how familiar with them that you are. The first one was the second record by this band. It was kind of a combination of their normal improvisational approach to music, but also it was kind of like layering the parts of the record together like a collage. It is Anthem of the Sun by the Grateful Dead.
Oh.
Oh, you just played right into Glenn's heart.
Yeah.
I just love this record.
I'm a deadhead, Chris.
Oh, okay, cool.
What's the name of it?
It's called Anthem of the Sun. It was it's very 1968 sounding. Very experimental. This is at a time when the band was really into Stockhausen and John Cage soundscapes and things like that. It was so experimental. There's like a really cool story about one of the members. The producer walked out and just never came back because at one point, one of the members said, "I need to hear the sound of thick air." And he's like, "I'm done with this," you know? So, but that's kind of the vibe you get on this record. In fact, Jerry Garcia said that he specifically mixed it for the hallucinations. So this is a really, really different headphones record. Both of my choices today are going to need repeated listens. This one totally does. Mm-hmm. You know, at first it's going to be way out there. But I like it. I always come back to it. And I like a lot of their other records too, but this one stands alone for its style. You know, they didn't do anything like this particular record, I don't think, ever again. So that was the first one. And 100,000 miles away from that record, this is the last record by a band. Basically, they were no more by this point, but they released this anyway. This is Strange Ways, Here We Come by the Smiths. Some people write the album off because technically the band was not a band when they released it, but I'm going to be honest, I love it as much as any of their other records that are more popular. It's Morrissey at his most Morrissey and Johnny Marr at his most Johnny Marriest. It's totally a good Smiths album. This is an album where you totally hear Ron Mael's influence on his lyrics because there's a massive friendship, fanship mutually going on there. This is the Girlfriend in a Coma album. Yeah. You know, there's one song that has a lyric that says that his pain was enough to make a shy, bald Buddhist reflect and plan a mass murder. I mean, that's what you're getting into on this record. Yeah. There's another song on here.
Great guitar work too.
Oh, Johnny Marr's insane. And the rhythm section is insane. The rhythm section is insane. They don't really hear it as much because they were really in the background, but they really were great. There's another song on here called Paint a Vulgar Picture, which basically the entire lyrics are his disdain for exploiting dead rock stars by continuing to sell the same repackaged things over and over to make money after they're gone. It's a pretty heavy song. But I guess the only other thing I'll say about that record is you got to keep in mind, I was 15 when this came out. So it hit me in my adolescence, and it was absolutely perfect for a 1980s adolescent to hear a record like this. Morrissey has the whole "I'm lonely, nobody understands me, why don't I fit in" kind of sentiments going on, which speaks volumes to an adolescent. But also there's anger there, and there's a massive sense of humor there. So the Smiths, I think, spoke to our generation in a way that not a lot of other bands totally did. So that is my second one. And honestly, again, repeated listens. There are tracks with very long intros and very long outros, but I think it's worth the ride. So that's my second choice.
Okay. Good. Marsha.
So what I have been the last couple of weeks trying to tie back the album I chose based on what I heard. I'm not doing that anymore. On the live stream I did with Steve this past Sunday, we had showed off our favorite albums from 2023, and I had only bought 2 albums in 2023, released in 2023. I have said before, new music to me, I don't really pick up on it till it's been out for about 18 months, 24 months. So that's what I'm showing is music that's fairly new to me, even though it's a couple years old. So, Steve, you want to tell the gang what this one's about? Because I have talked to Steve about this album twice now.
Who's the artist?
Lola Kirk.
Lola Kirk, and it
Who's
is
your father?
Lady for Sale. I don't know, Steve. Tell the gang who's her father.
Her father is Simon Kirk, the drummer of
yeah.
Free and Bad Company.
Yep.
Yeah.
I picked this up last week. I had read a review about it last year that had said that it was a good album, and I found it in the used bin at Park Avenue. And I was like, that's right. I wanted to listen to this. It was released in 2022, and a review I read about it summed it up pretty good, which is take Dolly Parton from 9 to 5 and Melanie Griffith from Working Girl, and you have this album. It's got some 80s influence. It's a little country. It's a little pop. It is just a joy to listen to. She's got a really interesting voice. She's a really good songwriter. It's very feminine. I will say that. It's definitely girly. But I appreciate that. And I think you gentlemen could use some femininity as well.
Oh, I'm a girly man. Just ask my family. So it's no problem.
And again, it's called Lady for Sale. And this is on Third Man Records.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So you can probably find it on YouTube, not streaming.
You have my interest.
And then the next one I have is from 2021. This might not show up that great. It's because of the reflective cover, but it's Nathaniel Ratliff and the Night Sweats, The Future. Yeah. And you can see my entire home in the reflection of this. Oh. This is the 2021 release, like I had said. It's soulful, it's folky, it's just really good. There's a lot of Bob Dylan influence, a lot of Van Morrison. It's on Stax. So again, it's soulful.
What's the name of the album?
The Future. It's just a really, really enjoyable, pleasant, easy listen.
Their first album was awesome.
Yeah. Their first album, the indie release, is a little bit more folky. The one with Son of a Bitch is more soulful.
Yeah, that's the one I meant. Yeah.
This is a combination of those two genres, basically. And he's got an incredible, gravelly, smoky voice. And he's a great songwriter as well.
Interesting.
Okay. Steve.
Why am I next? Okay.
It's Larry's show. He can make the decisions.
All right.
He complains when he goes last. He complains when he goes third. And he complains when he goes first. I don't know.
I'm using a new approach. Hopefully, this will take twos out of the equation, Marcia.
I just want to point out again, I rated my albums higher this week than you did, Steve.
I am picking nothing but
Steve's going to present
from
2
here on
Duran albums.
Yeah. I'm picking nothing but prog rock from here on out because I know Marcia won't pick it. So
he's right about that.
I am bringing the fun today. Glenn, I told you on your live chat Wednesday night. On Monday, I got my favorite album of the year, 2023. This is a rock and roll revival show. This is, I mean, it's funk. It's got the Allman Brothers in it. These guys, they play the B3 Hammond organ with the big Leslie speaker, you know, with the whirling.
Yeah.
They embrace the 60s and 70s. In fact, I saw an interview with them, and they're I don't even know if they're maybe 30 years old. They're from Amsterdam. And they said, you know what? We don't get the music of today. He said, we love the 60s and 70s. And that's exactly what these guys sound like. I mean, I told you, Glenn, if Steve Marriott and Sly Stone impregnated Tina Turner and Anne Margaret, this is what would come out. It's a 10-piece band. They've got two female backup singers who are wearing mini skirts and go-go boots, and they're doing the dance, the 60 dance moves and everything. And one's a redhead, and I love my redheads, man.
So they're the Ikettes.
What's that?
So they're the Ikettes.
Yeah, I mean they are just fantastic, and so that is the band De Wolf, and that is DEWOLFF, and the album is Love, Death, and In Between. And I'm going to tell you this: even if you don't pick this album, go on YouTube and watch their concert from the Pink Pop Festival in 2023. If I win the lottery, I will underwrite these guys to come to the U.S. because I don't think it's cost effective for them to come to the U.S. with a 10-piece band because they're just not going to play a venue to offset that cost.
Are any of those 10 pieces horns?
They have a 3-piece horn section.
Okay. Good horns or bad horns?
Good horns.
Okay.
This is good. This is I don't know when I've been this excited about a band. I'm
How did you hear about them?
I was actually I subscribed to Classic Rock Magazine, and they ranked their top 50 albums of the year. This was one of them, so I took a listen to like 30-second snippets on YouTube of the songs, and so I ordered the CD. It came, and it is fantastic. In fact, I went then on Amazon, and I've got like 6 or 7 albums of theirs coming in. They're trickling in. I'm waiting for them. So that's my number one fun album. Oh, and Glenn, there's a song on there. What's it called? Jackie, Go to Sleep, the 4th song. That begins, you'll think you're listening to the Allman Brothers. I mean, it's that organ and guitar. So then also I bought a band I saw once live, and they were one of the funnest bands I've ever seen live. And that is the Beat Farmers and their album Poor and Famous.
The who? The Beat what?
Beat Farmers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Poor and Famous, 1989. Just a very entertaining band. I guess they fell into that. Some people say they're country alt. To me, they're not. I mean, there's a tinge of, you can hear a little bit of that on a couple songs, but they're just a fun band with a great sense of humor. Stuff they do, most of it pretty much high energy. So yes, those are my 2.
All right. Okay. Glenn.
Oh, I'm going next. Wow. I was expecting Larry next.
Yeah.
Okay. What did I choose here? I am starting with an album that was recorded at Abbey Road Studios. Norman Smith, whose name is synonymous with Beatle recordings, was a producer of this album. It's very Beatley, got a lot of good, strong melodies, guitar driven. It's if you like the Beatles, I can't see how you wouldn't love this. The Pretty Things album, Parachute.
I have that album.
Fantastic record. Like I said, if you like the Beatles, you'll recognize a lot of it in there. Some of it's been maybe it goes from a heavier guitar sound to a little melodic type stuff. But I absolutely love that album. Second, one of the great singer-songwriters on the planet, John Hyatt. His great album, Bring the Family. This has Ry Cooder featured on guitar. It's got a real swampy New Orleans sound in some parts. Some just, more rootsy, great lyrics. Maybe a bit of a country tinge. I don't call it too much country, but John Hyatt, great album.
Glenn, you played that when I went over to Andrea's that night.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Ah. And did you want me to take it off? I can't remember.
No, I have that on CD. I like that album.
Oh, awesome.
That is my favorite John Hyatt album.
Oh, wow.
That and the follow-up, Slow Turning, is a very good
Yeah,
album too.
they're the two best. They're the classics.
Yeah.
Okay. My two. The first one is a Captain Beefheart album. Now, for those of you that, maybe have heard of him and think it's just weird, hard to get into music, this particular album is more commercial. It's really good. He's got great vocals, and I think Glenn's heard this and liked it. It is Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, Clear Spot.
Clear
Really,
what?
really good. It's not weird or anything. It's
Clear Spot.
Yeah.
Okay. What year is
maybe
it?
a touch of weirdness to it, but it's just really good music.
What year is that?
About 73, 72, early 70s. And okay, my double album that I hope somebody takes a chance on, because this artist is not respected, put down a lot, and this is true for me, one of the top 10 double albums I've ever heard. And it's song based. It's not, it's fun. There's some serious lyrics. There's one song about suicide, and it just needs more respect. It is Yoko Ono, Approximately Infinite Universe. Somebody, Chris, take a chance. Trust me.
Chris, have you interviewed Yoko? You have any Yoko interviews coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay, you should be safe with that one then.
Everybody laugh. It's okay. And this, by the way, this is with the Elephant's Memory Band that was with John. And so the music is just really, really good. And she sings. She's not screaming or anything. All right. So, Steve, you pick first.
Okay, let's see here. Well, I could give Glenn a couple layups here by choosing both of those albums. I feel like I almost owe him something. Oh, God. You know what? It's been a long time since I've listened to Parachute. I'm going to take Parachute.
Mm-hmm. That's a great album.
I know Bring the Family like the back of my hand, so that would just be an automatic, probably 9.5 for that. I've heard a lot about this album, The Light, the Dead Sea. I might go with that. But I'm not allowed to because it's mine. Oh, man, I got to go back again here. Although, you know what? Brian at Embryonic Robot, he did a whole retrospect on Smith's discography, and I had told him I would try them out. So I'll go with the Smiths album. I'll take Smiths and Pretty Things.
It's good. Glenn.
Well, I'm definitely taking that album that Steve said, DeWolf, Love, Death, and In Between. That sounds like it's right up my alley. So I'm excited to hear that. I am having a tough choice on the second one. Marcia really has me interested in that Lola Kirk album. I know I would love the Nathaniel Ratcliffe album because I'm a fan. So I want to try and challenge myself a bit. So in that regard, I'm going with a band that normally I dismiss because I think Morrissey's the biggest wanker in the frickin' planet. So I'm going to try Strange Ways Here We Come along with Steve. I got to challenge myself on the Smiths.
Glenn, be forewarned. You put that album on, you will be dancing. I was dancing in the house yesterday while I was vacuuming and mopping.
It's a good album. I like it. Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, Marcia.
I'm going to choose Steve's DeWolf, but I can't find it.
It's on Spotify.
Can you spell it? I don't have a subscription to
It's all
Spotify.
one. Why don't you just download the app because it's free?
It's can you spell it again?
DEWOLFF. It's all one word. DeWolf.
Okay,
I found it on YouTube because that's where I first listened to it. I don't have Spotify, so I know I found it on YouTube.
I think it's because I put a space.
Oh. Yeah, I tried that too. I looked on Spotify. It definitely came up there. How come you guys just don't download the Spotify app? It's free.
Yeah.
Because I have Amazon.
Oh. You can
and I pay $5 a month for it to listen to albums without ads. Okay, it's on there. I'm gonna take the DeWolf, and then I'm not taking the Smiths because I am a fan. If this is any indication. I am going to Pretty Things.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I'm not terribly familiar with them. I like SF Sorrow a lot, so, and I do like 60s music, so that's what I'm taking.
All right. Who's next? Chris.
All right. A lot of the same logic. Let me just start by saying I've heard that Yoko Ono album and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I already know. And I actually did a podcast episode on the fact that I don't hate her. Because, there's like the Yoko Ono who was like on Dick Cavett. And then there's like the Yoko Ono who made records like decades after that. And those records are not bad at all.
Yeah. As
far as I'm concerned. It's not the same kind of screaming and things that you see on the television shows back in the day with John Lennon. But I already know that. So because I already know that, I don't think it would be fair for me to pick it. The only Captain Beefheart that I have or that I've heard is Safe as Milk and Trout Mask Replica. I have never heard Clear Spot. So I'm going to take Clear Spot as one of my picks. And I have the same logic as Marcia. I know SF Sorrow, but I don't know anything else by the Pretty Things. And that sounds interesting to me. So I'm going to take Parachute.
Wow. 3 parachutes.
Wow, Glenn. Larry, you need to pick a parachute for a clean sweep here for Glenn.
It's a great album. Yep.
So let's see. 3 2s. I'll get 6 points next week.
Well, I know you're going to get one for me. I own the album on CD and LP, so I know I like it. It's just been a long time since I listened to it.
Well, I'll pick Yoko Ono. Oh, that's mine. I'm going to go with the only album that I ever owned back in the very early 70s, and I kind of liked it, but I haven't heard it in a long time. So I'm going with Chris's Anthem of the Sun by the Grateful Dead.
Wow.
And the second choice, I'm going to try Marcia's Lola Kirk.
Thank you. I thought I was going to get shut out again this week.
And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be back in 1 week to give out 2 and 3 star reviews. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Please remember to comment below.
Everyone. Merry Christmas.
Yes, happy holidays.
For Christmas. Happy holidays.
Everybody.
Yeah. Wow. There was a lot of good choices there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me make sure I got this correct.